All right. We are live.
Okay.
Definitely live on my relationship group page.
Yes, I just got it. Welcome, welcome, guys. Welcome.
Yes, yes, yes.
Let me go ahead and get it.
All right. Hello, Mr. Mundi. How are you?
Bonsoir.
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 Bonsoir. We have guests showing up already. Guys, come on.
Share.
Yes.
Let me share, please. Laisse-moi share.
You know, we have too much fun at this place. So we went over, I noticed, the little changes that we did last week. So we're going to try it again, with the screen. And I would love to get some feedback from everybody else. Let me see. Welcome. Come on in. This week, last week I did something different when we first went live. I decided to join using both Facebook and my relationship group page. And what I noticed is that there are lots of people that were there that I was not able to see them nor acknowledge them. So for that, I apologize. But so this week I decided to go back to normal, right? And just, sometimes I just like to try new things. And
right? Yeah.
So guys, I see you guys that are here. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. Please share as Miss Kattia is doing the same.
I is. Yeah.
She's too funny, right, guys? She's too funny. Okay. All right. So tonight, first of all, let me just say big thank you to every one of you, because the love that we get from you guys is amazing, the support. And one thing that I noticed is that the people who come to watch the show on a regular basis, they become like part of the family. And tonight I'm going to share some news with all of you as once we start. Hi, Cynthia, so nice to see you. As people start joining us, I will, pause for a second to give you guys some announcement as to, what we're doing with the event and stuff like that in regards to the hotel. So if you guys are interested, want to know more about it, make sure that you stick around, because I'm going to be sharing some update on that.
Coach, actually, I was going to talk in private, but since you brought it up, I just want to make sure that everybody's understanding or clear on where the event is going to be, because somebody reached out to me and said, so I just want to be clear. Yes.
And I understand that. I believe that was one of the changes that we made, and the new place was not updated. Another colleague of mine did reach out to me. So I noticed that people are buying tickets. So I thank you guys. I appreciate the love. Please continue to share, because we do have a goal that we want to reach to, and we cannot do it without you guys. So, and you guys know how we pull onto you here. So wait, what's gonna happen when you see us face to face in Florida, because we have so many surprises for you. And then those of you who have already been on the Eventbrite site, you'll see some of the things that, have been updated in there. If you haven't been, please go on the link. It's on my Facebook page. I pin it there for you guys on purpose, or reach out to me. I'll send it to you directly so you guys can find out exactly what we're doing. I will definitely make sure that someone from my team or myself will go on Eventbrite and update the information that is lacking in there. But in the meantime, let me give you guys some love and thank you for joining us. We are ready for another episode of the Maggie and Kattia show. Of course, again, we couldn't have done this without you guys. So thanks a lot for sharing. Thanks a lot for showing up. We appreciate you guys. All right, so go ahead, Miss Scott. I know you are gonna say your thing. Scott, go ahead, go ahead.
So yes, as you were saying, Coach, we want to welcome everybody, and it's Wednesday, the 5th of October already. So yeah, the time is flying by. As Coach was saying, please purchase your tickets, and if there's any confusion, reach out, and then we will clear it up for you. So, with that being said, this is our opinion. This is our show. And we say what we feel. We say what we think. So because of that, we can go from 0 to 1,000. So beware if you have kids. You know, you may, depending on how you're raising them. You may want them to hear adults speak, but that's on you. So we encourage you guys to share on your Facebook, however you want to share. We're also on YouTube at the same time. So share on your page, share on Messenger, invite people in, share on groups. So yes, so we are ready to go. And I am so happy to see that the show, a lot of people are watching, we're getting lots of views. So yeah, so that's a great thing. So we want you guys to be ready. We want you guys to participate. You can call in, right, Coach?
Definitely, whenever they want.
Yeah, you could call in. So we're gonna dive right in and start this ball rolling. Before we know it, it's already 10:30, and we don't know over again, child. So
the time goes by so fast, so fast. So how about you, Vanya? How are you doing tonight? And Mr. Mundy, how you guys doing? Go ahead, Vanya.
Yes, I'm doing pretty well. I'm so happy to hear.
All right. Okay. Get closer to the microphone so we can hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me this yet?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
No, I'm with you guys. It's one shot Wednesday that I can see all of you guys. So actually, it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling Wednesday for me.
You're not being heard very clearly. I don't know what.
Vina is trying to teach us to listen harder.
I'm gonna go deaf trying to hear her.
I don't know what to do with this.
It's good. You're
That's
good.
better.
I need a new laptop.
All right, Wendy, what about you? How are you doing? How was your week?
The week has been fantastic. I can't really complain. What can I say? I'm happy to be here, and I just can't wait to see how much trouble we're gonna get ourselves into tonight.
Definitely. Well, for those of you who have not seen the flyer yet, and even for those of you who've seen it as well, the topic is, how do you know it's time for you to walk away? You know, when we talk about walking away, we don't mean about just, get off from the seat and walk away. We mean actually walking away from a relationship. How do you know? I mean, because so many of you, right? I mean, not just you guys, I go through it too. And I'm sure like the whole panel and everybody who's watching go through it sometime or another. You're in a relationship and all of a sudden things are not the way they're supposed to be. And you don't know what to do. What are the signs, that's going to tell you it's time to go? Or what is it that needs to happen? Because everybody has this moment where you're like, okay, that's it. I'm not putting up with any more crap. This is it. I'm done. What is your moment, right? When this is it for you. So this is something I think we do need to talk about, because many of us do not know when it's over actually to walk away, because too often we want to justify why we want to stay. And I'm going to share this with you guys. I know it's early, but I'm going to stop right there. Let me tell you, October, as you all know, okay, it's not only Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but it's also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Okay, so this is going to give you guys an insight as to, what type of relationship are you in? And what are the signs that tell you it's time to go? What do you guys think? Are you guys ready?
Yes, we are ready. Aren't we? Are we not ready, guys? Are you guys ready that's watching?
Yes.
Are you guys ready that's watching?
Yes.
Let us participate. Ask questions. Tell us when is your What is that aha moment for you where it's just enough is enough, guys? Let us know.
Yeah, we want to hear from you guys, from Cynthia, from Flora, from Paolo, from everybody else watching. We would love to get some feedback from you guys. Let us know, when is your aha moment that this is it. I'm not putting up with any more of this nonsense. It's time for me to make a decision, and that's it. I'm done. When is that time for you? What is it?
Well, the very first one, in my opinion, is whenever your safety is involved. That's one of the ones that I always say, don't second guess. If you're in a relationship and that relationship has now turned violent, guess what? Pack up, because this is just the beginning of a long-lasting headache, right? Trust your instinct. If you believe you're not safe, you are not safe. And if he strikes you, or if she strikes you, let it be the only and last time. Don't get accustomed to it. You should never allow yourself to be abused by anyone for whatever reason. And I know we can have a whole show just on that. But just remember, you can always start over, but your life, you only have just this one to live. So you should always, always, always do your very best to protect yourself and your children as well.
And I think we also, since you said that, Mandy, it is very important that we, and I mean we, men and women alike, we are aware of emotional and mental abuse in a relationship. And that, to me, that might sound crazy, that can sometimes be worse than the physical aspect of it all. Because I think sometimes scars, you may carry scars as far as physically, but I think sometimes mental scars are probably one of the hardest to get over. So we really need to be aware of mental abuse that people are doing, and then we need to not make excuses, as you were saying, because some people are very, very good at making you feel like you're the problem. It's you. So we need to be aware of people that are doing that to you. And then, I know Creole, we have a saying that in Creole, sometimes we'll say on coup de l'eau, on coup de l'eau fouette, like, it's like they're smacking you and then they're asking you, are you okay? Are you okay, sweetie? And yet they're saying things to you that could literally knock you off the chair or whatever. So I really want, especially women, to be aware that it is not okay to allow somebody to make you feel that you are not worthy in any sense, because you are. Because I know that because it has happened, where you put yourself in a position where you start feeling like, am I worthy? And then once that happens, they got you. And you need to be a very, very strong person to be able to pull yourself out of that. And you probably will need very, how can I say it? You need a group. You need to find that support, right? You need to find that support system where that might help you to find yourself and get yourself out of it. So I just wanted to bring that up because it is very, very much real, where I'm sure each one of us knows somebody that's been in that position, that is in that position, and they're scared. And that's a lot of time, that's the bottom line. They're scared, and especially as we get older, as us women, we're like, what if are we going to find somebody else? And don't let that be the reason you stay in a relationship, because you don't know, oh, am I going to get somebody? Well, you won't know if you continue to stay and get abused. That's for one. So we really need to be aware. It's better than some relationship. You're better off being alone, because you're not going to, at least you should not be able to put yourself in a position where somebody's talking down to you, making you feel like you're nothing, and just stripping you every woman aspect of you, making you feel like what are you about? You know, and then a lot of men are good at that. They'll be right there and make you feel like you literally non-existent. So I just wanted to bring that out. And yeah.
I appreciate what you just said, Kat, because everything you said is true. But I do want to acknowledge that there are men who also get abused, you know, and we have to acknowledge everybody the same way, because men don't usually complain. They don't usually talk, because we women, we raise our men to be strong. When we tell our girls it's okay to have emotions, it's okay to express their emotion, but we tell our boys to toughen up, and you're not supposed to cry, you're not supposed to, you know, let people see that you know, that you're weak, you know. So therefore men put up with a lot and don't say anything because of the way we women, we raise them. Because, you know, we know scientifically that there's more single mothers than there is single fathers, you know, because unfortunately, been in, you know, with, you know, Black community, there are too many of our men that are locked up somewhere, therefore create an emptiness, you know, for those kids that are being raised with single mom. So, or even sometimes it's the grandmother who's raising those kids, because the mom is not even able to be there to raise those kids for one reason or another. So we do want to acknowledge this, that it happens to anybody, regardless if you're old or if you're young. If you know, in a relationship, you know, with a woman or with a man, it doesn't matter who you are, it can happen to you. I just want to acknowledge it. And so I don't want any man watching this show feeling that, okay, well, I can't say anything, because let me tell you, the worst thing that can happen to anyone is to feel like you don't have a voice. Because I know what that's like. And I wouldn't want anyone to ever feel that you don't have a voice. So in this space, you have a voice, and please share. And I would love to hear some of the men who's been through some type of domestic abuse to talk about it, because, you know, nobody's gonna criticize you. I know it takes a lot of courage to do that, but I want you guys to know no one is gonna criticize you, because let me tell you, those of us, you know, many people are not saying anything, not because they're not in an abusive relationship. They're just too ashamed or too afraid or in denial to say it. So just wanted to put that out there. Thank you. Thank you, Kat.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Ms. Vanya? Ms. Vanya, would you like to share?
Thank you.
Vanya, okay?
Frozen.
Huh?
She's frozen.
Oh,
Yeah,
she is.
Oh, you were frozen. And I was like, is she okay?
she was praying.
You, you look like you were just going. I was like, oh my God, I hope she's okay. We can't hear you.
Yeah,
We can't
yeah.
hear you.
You're gonna again. You're gonna get.
Oh
We're
my
gonna have to
God.
get your laptop.
Can she just call the show? Is that possible? Can she call the show?
She did the last time.
Yeah, the last time we did it.
Yeah, we did do that.
Yeah. Let's try it again. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, a little bit.
You're in and out.
In and out.
All right, let me try.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to call.
Okay.
So, and I'm screaming right now, so you bring.
We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Yeah.
The way you all think about domestic violence, it's really one of the biggest things.
And I can tell you're about to say something that is so.
Yeah.
Yes. And we
please-
all want to hear what you have to
show.
say.
We want to hear what you have to say.
Yes.
It's not.
Get to my phone.
Yes. So we may not be able to see your beautiful face, but we will be able to hear you. Okay.
Okay. Go ahead, continue.
Yes.
Oh, see, now we hear her. Okay. All right. Go ahead, Mandy. What we're gonna share?
Well, remember now, I know I mentioned domestic violence as one, and we also talk about the emotional abuse that can take place as well. So those two um, are indicatives that your relationship is in trouble. And so if you guys are the kind of people who truly believe in therapy and truly believe in getting um, um, counseling and things like that, I suggest that at the offset or at the beginning of your relationship, if this is going on, that you seek the help. Now, if you seek the help and nothing's happening, and the relationship continue to exist that way, then it's time to walk away. Now, remember, the show is about how do you know, what are some of the signs to let you know that you should pack up and go. So the first one, domestic violence, absolutely. But what if you are in love or you are married to someone who has a narcissistic personality? What do you do with that?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last thing you said. What if you what?
You are in love or married to someone with a narcissistic personality. That it's all about them. Everything's about them. Even when they hurt you, it's because you made it. You made them do it. I mean, we watch enough Lifetime movies, right? So, what do you do, ladies? What do you do? What do you do? Let's start with the ladies, and then, we'll come back to you.
What about you, viewers? Tell us, the viewers. Tell us. Come on, guys. No, I'm saying the viewers for them to let us know.
Should I speak on the phone?
Yes, you can.
I don't know.
What's the number again, Maggie?
No, I am on the line. So I think she has to.
All right, so bring your phone closer to you. Yeah, try it now.
No, so is I was about to say that you brought the point is the domestic violence is one of the problem, the number one problem. But then there's also the one that is not related to domestic problem. It's the one where is it possible sometimes you are before you walk away, it could be you have to evaluate your relationship to see if you are going through a rough patch or if it's something you need to want to walk away from by getting help. Because especially when there's children involved, walking away is not something, it's not
easy.
Anyone.
Yes.
It's painful for the men, it's painful for the women. So this is why we normally hang on to a toxic relationship because we don't want to go through the pain. And then the one that you lose yourself in a relationship because the other partner, as you said, wants to be where it's all about that yourself. So that's another you have to consider to walk away if you feel you're not being heard. You're not being recognized in a relationship, that you got to do the most sacrifice. You have to do the most, the most sacrifice. So that's another point you need to think about whether you want to walk away.
I agree. And yeah, you're absolutely right. It is not easy. I know, when we say it, and we make it sound like it is easy, but it's really not, especially when you are deeply involved and they're even I don't want to say just because there are kids in the relationship, because sometimes it is quite possible that you guys don't have children yet. Nevertheless, this is what you are experiencing in that relationship. So definitely reach out for a coach, reach out for a therapist, a counselor, someone that, outside of the house that, you can come and have a talk with, and they can help you, guide you through the process of whatever it is that process is, whether it's how to live or how to stay, but in a safe way, correct? Because again, at the end of the day, it's really about being safe, whether it's emotional or physical. You have to feel safe in your own home.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And I do want to acknowledge everybody who's joining us tonight. The question is, how do you know it's time for you to walk away? And the reason this topic came up, it's because October is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And we just want to touch base and give you guys some tips on how to recognize whether or not you are in a healthy or toxic relationship. We're gonna be also talking about, being in a healthy relationship, what that look like. We don't want to just focus on the negative aspect of it, but we also want to bring some awareness and let you guys know that, you have a voice here. And if you have questions, you can ask. And then, we have two of us here who are expert in relationships, so then we can guide you and answer your questions. I do want to acknowledge Belle Creole. It's so nice to see you guys. I know last week I was testing something. I don't know if you were here. If you guys, those of you who missed it, when we first started, I shared with you guys that last week I decided to try something new, right? So I went on my main page while you guys were on my Relationship Go official page. Well, guess what? I didn't see many of you, so I'm sorry. But this week I decided to get back to normal, so I'm not gonna mess up again. So let me acknowledge you guys, because I'm so happy to see you, right? Nico, so nice to see you. Dietrich, Linda, oh my gosh, I miss you guys so much. Joanna, Kessler, and of course, Miss Florette and Cynthia and Paolo and everybody else who's here. Thank you. Please continue to share, because we do want you guys here. And we also want to make sure that this video gets to as many people as possible, because the information that we're sharing, these are things that people actually go and pay money, when you've been coached by someone, and so to learn them. But we're pouring onto you guys for free because we love you and we appreciate the love that you guys give us back. So please share the video. So Miss Kat, is there something you wanted to add, or was it you, Vanya?
No, I think we've we've said a lot. I think let me just say this also. I do think most people that are in abusive relationship, they do know it. They do know it. I think for the most part they do. And then yeah.
Well, that's not working.
Okay.
No, just put it on mute. Yes.
Oh, I think you have to shut off.
Oh, I just put that on.
Okay, I'm gonna shut it off.
Okay, I put
Sorry, people.
Just shut it off, Vanya. Yeah. Just turn off the phone. Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. Give us 1 second. Technical difficulties.
I can't shut it off.
Are you twice somewhere? Okay. Okay, let me see. Okay. All right. Good. It still shows unmute, but I have unmuted you. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yes, Miss Scott.
Mute. Okay. So yeah, I do think for the most part, you guys can tell me if you think I'm wrong, but I do think for the most part that, we know when we are in a unhealthy relationship. I think most of us, we may not know per se, or maybe we didn't grow up seeing healthy relationship, but we know, like we watch movies, we hear people talk. I think deep down, when you're not being treated right. And I think a lot of times it's just that we're scared of the unknown. If I leave, it's always that big if. So we have to learn that, to put that to the side and do what deep down you need to do. We all deserve to be happy. I think we know what happiness looks like. I think we know what it looks like. We grew up. Most of us, I think, right here had a pretty healthy upbringing. So we know what a healthy, whether with siblings, friends, whatever, we know what it's like. Because I always say this, I take relationships, whether it is, I said this last week too, relationship to me is just that, relationship, sibling, children, friends, significant other. It's a relationship. The same thing, it's respect, it's love, it's understanding, it's compromise. That's what it's based on. So if whatever relationship you have that this person is dear to you, those need to be, they need to be the basis of the foundation of the relationship. Otherwise, you really, you're not in a, what's the word I'm looking for? Healthy relationship. You're not in a healthy relationship, whether it's, again, so if I have a friend and I feel like this friend is treating me some type of way, I'm gonna need to walk away from that friend. And it's the same thing. I mean, we can't walk away from family per se, but we can distance ourselves, you know? So it's the same thing in any relationship. And I want people to kind of think about that, because I think sometimes we don't realize how relationship, whatever relationship you have with someone, you need to think, you need to be respectful, you need to be, you need to have those things. So I just want people to continuously remember that. And if you feel like any of those, your standards are not being met, then you have some, you have some soul searching to do. You know, I was actually thinking about something else. And yeah, you know, yeah, we got some talking to do, you know, as I was thinking of Lucy and Ricky, how he said it, and in his Spanish accent. That's why I was laughing. But yeah, you got some explaining to do. So you got some explaining to do to yourself. Why are you in this relationship, whatever the relationship is?
Yeah. So yeah, I do want to remind everyone again, the topic tonight is, when is it time for you to walk away? How do you know it's time to walk away? So if you guys are going through any type of, you know, question in a space where you're asking yourself these questions, I'm sorry, I'm making that something. When you are asking yourself this question, what relationship am I in? Should I stay or should I walk away? The minute you find yourself doubting, that's when you really need to take a pause and do something that we call assessment. You know, when you start asking questions, what is different in the relationship? You know, often we see relationship through our heart, right? Not for what it is, because we are totally in our emotions. Lord knows I have my share of it, you know. We go through all these feelings and everything looks good, everything looks great, everything is right, you know, and we're very forgiving. You know, that person does one little thing for us and it's like a big deal. Oh my gosh, it's nice, it feels good, right?
But that is just being in denial. Sometimes we, you know, you are in denial of the real situation that you are facing. And so you allow yourself to be manipulated, number one, by that person. Usually when there's abuse, after the abuse, there's a season called the honeymoon season that directly follow the abuse. And during that time, most people tend to pacify what really happened as if it didn't happen and kind of pretend. Again, you telling yourself that you actually telling yourself, oh, he didn't mean it, or it's not his fault, or maybe it's something I did, or maybe if I didn't speak to him this way or that way, or if I didn't do this or didn't do that, if I made more money or didn't make enough, whatever the reasons, you try to tell yourself, oh, it's okay. And what we're trying to tell you is, no, that's not healthy. It's not okay. It's never okay.
And that is whether it's the woman who's been treated that way or the man who's been treated that way. It's not okay. And what Mandy just described to you guys, I want you to be aware of it. There is a name that goes with it. It's called that you are with a narcissist. Okay. And these are the people who give it to you. You know what we say in Creole, like, you know, I know Kattia love those Creole quotes, you know, like, a cold water and then a hot water. Okay, that's what it is. Like in Creole, we say kudlo show, kudlo fret, right? So, you know, you are with someone and, you know, they're giving you all this love. And then it's like they're pinching you to make you cry. And then once you cry, they give you back the love again. And then they pinch you to make you cry. So you are in a roller coaster relationship because now you really just want to live in that space where you are really happy, but they need to take you to that, space where you feel pain before they take you back to that moment where you can be happy again. If any of you find yourself in these types of relationship, I want you to know you are living with a narcissist. And these people don't know how to change. They don't, because they are programmed to be who they are. So since we're on the topic, I'll just share with you a little brief about some of the signs of what they look like. You remember, no, I gave an interview and I share that. I know this young lady, I gave the interview, she posted it. When you are talking with someone, you first meet someone, often they want to know a lot about you, just like you want to know about them. But because we tend to share a lot more than men tend to get to know us faster than we get to know them. And because this person knows you, they know what makes you sad and what makes you happy because you share so much. So what happened is, God forbid this person is a narcissist, because every great things that you say you love, guess what? The honeymoon phase that we talked about earlier, that's all you're gonna get within the first few months of the relationship. You're gonna fall in love so deep. Let me tell you, this man would even, well, I'm not even gonna say that. This man will do anything for you. I mean, just ask or he will do it. And the woman, if it's the woman who's a narcissist, she'll do the same thing. She'll give you everything you want. Anything, anytime you want it, right? Until that person knows that I got you. Right now, you're so in love with me, you're not walking away. And then you start seeing the real person. So we talked about, a little hot water and cold water. That's when you start seeing it. Because now you find yourself crying a lot and you wonder what the heck is going on with you. If you're in a relationship and you're crying, that means you are in pain, because people don't cry unless they feel pain, unless something is bothering you, right?
Well, not necessarily. Sometimes you may experience tears of joy in the middle of lovemaking. Yeah, it does happen.
Monday, you too much. Sometimes we
It
cry
does
because it
happen.
tastes good.
So I wanted to wait a
Right?
second.
So what are you saying, that people are stuck on the lovemaking and they'll stay?
Well, it does happen. I've seen, yeah. They say, you know what, I would, but you know what, but he's so good, or she's so good, or she has that good, or whatever that terminology is, right? So yeah, people, listen, the truth of the matter is, people chose what they're gonna live with.
Yes.
What they're gonna, it's a choice. And as much as I want people to get out and do it, but at the end of the day, it's your relationship. You get to make that decision. As a coach or as a therapist, I'll never tell you to leave.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that this is not a safe place for you. I'll give you different options for you to consider. I help you see what's really going on in your relationship so you can make a choice. But it is always going to be your choice. You can never say, Coach Maggie did that. She's the reason why I'm divorced. No, we're never going to tell you what to do, but we're going to share with you what's really happening in your relationship. So we talk about the domestic violence. So let's move on to another thing. What if you're in love with a serial cheater? Do you say, do you just say, you know what, let's just open the house and have a house party, or what do you do?
Monday, what do you mean when you say house? Hold on, Kat. Give me 1 second, Kat. What do you mean when you say house party? Does that mean invite people into the house?
Well, listen, I was just reading prior to the show, I was just reading online a list of celebrities who are writing in their memoir how many women that they have slept with.
Oh my
And
goodness.
some of them have done it while married. So, yeah, so,
So would it be what they call an open relationship, where they all agree to it?
See,
I
that's
don't think
different.
so.
No, no, no.
Yeah,
That's
I
see,
don't, that's,
an
yeah.
open relationship. It's a relationship where the people who are involved,
Yeah.
they share with one another
Mhm,
the truth about what's going on, and
mhm.
they are okay with it.
Mhm.
It's something that they agree with.
Mhm.
Cheating is when you do something behind someone's back
Yeah.
and they're not aware of it. So there is a big difference. When you cheat, you break someone's trust.
Mhm.
When you are in an open relationship, it's built on trust. So there's a major, major difference there.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
the question's still the same. What do you stay? If you are not in an open relationship and you are involved with someone who constantly is cheating on you, what do you do? Do you stay or do you just keep pretending, oh, well, he's just a man, or she's just likes, a little side on
I,
this,
I-
you
yeah,
know?
I think we do need to have this conversation because I was on Clubhouse recently, and one of the questions that they asked was about relationship, and this lady, she ended up sharing with the group that she was in this relationship where she was very happy, and so they started asking her more questions, and in the process she said she was poly. And at first it took me a second to grab.
That's not me.
Looks,
You're on mute. You are on mute.
it looks like something happened to Coach's thing.
Okay.
But I guess to Coach's point, if you choose to be in a poly relationship, whatever that means to you, again, I think, let me just say this. We can sit here and say a lot of things, but again, we know we need to make decisions, right? Like we were saying. So maybe people decide to stay in a relationship where their significant other is constantly cheating because they know, again, we're talking about a narcissist, right? So they say, well, why not? You're not going anywhere. So a lot of time we allow these people to do this because
Mhm.
we allow these people to do this. And let me say it again. We allow these people to
We
do
sure
this.
do. We sure do.
So why do I have to change if you continuously accept what I'm doing?
That's a good
You're
question.
the problem.
That's a good question.
I mean, I'm just saying, let's think about this. At the end of the day, I'm just doing what I want to do to please me. If it bothers you, you got to make a decision. It don't bother me none.
But I think basically a lot of these women, they accept this, they just resign into thinking this is as good as it gets. Because they come from a long line. No, I'm serious. Some of them come from a long line of family of their father, grandfather, uncle, whoever it is as the male in the family cheating. So it's accepted, and the women just accept it because it all has to do from the women part, low self-esteem, because they think if they walk away from that relationship, they're not going to have any better. So they resign and accepted that. And it's not even so much of what the man is doing, it's about what the women are accepting in their life.
That's what I'm saying. That's my point. You allow somebody, you're giving this person the power to belittle you, to make you feel like you're not important enough, you're not worthy. It's one thing for a person to have an affair, but if you continuously have affair openly, you just don't give a flying F about how I feel. Because at this point, this person is like, listen, you could do whatever you want because I'm going to do what I'm doing.
Mhm.
So maybe this person really don't care. So
Yeah.
you're the one, so it's you. You have that key to open the door and do what you need to do. And
Yeah.
you need, yeah, and that's just the bottom line with any of it. We allow people to treat us. Unless there's a reason, you have a plan, you say, okay, I'm going to allow you to do this for X amount of time. But best believe when that time comes, deuces, I'm out. But if it's you're just there and this person continues to
I think if you are in a relationship where you guys agree that you're gonna be in a partner, relationship where there is one person standing and the other person standing, and it's just the two of you from the get-go, and that's what you let the person believe that's the relationship you're looking for. And then while you're in that relationship, you change your mind and decided that you're gonna bring, all these other people into it for one reason or another. I think the first person who walked in that wasn't invited by both of you, somebody got to go. And if that means you have to leave, you got to go. Because, you just mentioned we got to show people how to treat us. That's what it is. So if you tolerate something the first time, I guarantee you somebody's going to do it to you again. So my philosophy is stop someone at the very first point. Whenever they do something that you don't appreciate, that you're not going to tolerate, don't go and say, well, it's the first time he did it, he didn't understand, or it's the first time she did it, she didn't understand. No, have a conversation, be clear about what you want and what you don't want, and set boundaries. Set boundaries. If that happens again, I'm out. And guess what? If it happens again, you need to stand on your words, regardless of what happened to you. Because if you don't, there goes your respect. That's it. I'm done.
Now, you best better believe it's the first time you find out about it, but they probably have been doing it for a very long time. And you have to reach the point where for self-respect, to respect yourself, you have to, once you find out, you have to walk away.
Yeah, definitely.
You have to walk away and don't look back. Yeah. Because if they're going to do that, if they're going to be that disrespectful to you, what about something else down the line? They're just going to stop with that, and there's going to be others and others and others. So you have to gain your own self-respect and walk away.
So what happened now? The topic is, how do you know when it's time to walk away? What happened if sometimes, you are with someone who's very good to you? That person has not done anything to you, okay? Or you have not done anything to that person either. But you get in that stage in your life where you realize that there is this disconnect that exists between the two of you, right? It's not something this person did or you did. It's just that you are in a different space in your mind. You don't have the same vision anymore. You don't see things the same way anymore. What do? Do you walk away? Or because I know couples who actually walk away because they feel that disconnect, it's not, neither one of them cheated, and it wasn't financial either. It was they find themselves in different space in life.
Well, that's marriage. Marriage have what we call different seasons. You do experience different seasons. There's spring, there's summer, there's winter. And so some people do experience it much harder than others, but it's normal. You have to remember, people change. I change. My partner will change. And so as we change, we can either change together or we can change and grow apart. What we have to understand is when we begin to say it, is not to ignore the signs, but to make that a topic of conversations. Because if it's happening and you are aware of it and you don't do anything about it, then it's only going to get worse. But if it's happening and you acknowledge it and you come together, acknowledging, number one, what's happening, and together now begin to come up with ways of, okay, how can we make this better, right? Yeah. What's missing? Maybe we are too tired or too busy or too this or too that. Something's going on in the relationship that's causing this to take place. The important aspect is that you realize it, let's do something about it. Okay, you have to. That conversation must take place. And if you don't know how to fix it, again, when I have a splitting headaches and that Tylenol is not working anymore, I pick up the phone and call my doctor.
Yeah.
Right? Do the same thing with your relationship. Stop trying to pretend, it will just get better on its own. We don't do that when we have a broken leg. We don't say it will just get better on its own. When your marriage is on the brink of divorce or you're experiencing some things that are not working, seek out the help.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think
Okay.
I also think that sometimes, where we are in our lives is of equal importance also. So I think we kind of touched on that last week as well. It depends where you are in your life. It depends, if it's really important to you, if that relationship is really important to you, you guys have vested so much, and now it's just the two of you that's left.
Mm-hmm.
And you're empty nesters now, and you're looking at each other like, what are we doing with each other? Let's run in the room, okay? But I mean, I think that we need to understand these things as kids get older, they leave the house or whatever. You too, you still have a life. Your spouse, you guys got to talk. Again, I say communication. It's not just talking about, oh, when is this bill due? Let's talk about, let's have like conversations, what are we watching? Let's make plans. I want to do something tonight. Let's make plan for next week. What are we doing? I think that a lot of times, if you're not friends with your partner, that's also a problem.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think if you, I see Miss Cynthia wrote something. I'm just gonna read what she says. Yeah. Relationships are constantly evolving. Many times you need to grow as an individual and also grow as a couple. Sometimes they do not coexist in their growth.
That's true.
That is absolutely true, Doc. Okay, so it is true, and that's what we were just saying. So then you guys need to maybe you guys will not come back together. That is a possibility. But I think if you guys are able to find common grounds, maybe you can. Mm-hmm. And what I was actually getting ready to say is, I think we're living in a world where we are so quick to give up. It's like if it's not in a New York minute, because I'm in New York, like it's got to get done. Like, come on, like what? You don't get it? What? Like what? No, like we got to get this done. But that's not reality. That's not real life all the time. Sometimes one of us has to, especially, we women now, we're doing everything. Sometimes we're the man and the woman. So when the man comes in, we have to remember, he needs to be a man. And I'm not going to tell you to be a man. You need to know to be a man.
Yeah.
Is that a problem if I have to tell you to be a man?
I think that's a problem. If you are in a relationship with someone and you have to remind them of who they are, there is a problem. Because people should just know what space they're in. I think one of the challenges many relationships have is because people walk into relationships and they don't know how to identify their role in the relationship. They kind of waiting for the other person to tell them what to do. Whereas when you have self-confidence and you know who you are, you basically walk in and you say, okay, this is my role and that's what I'm doing. And he needs to come in and say, this is my role and that's what I'm doing. That has nothing to do with finances. That has everything to do with you being honest with yourself and say, this is what I'm capable of doing. And that's what I'm going to do. And if anything were to change, then you can have a conversation, okay? So you can say, well, this is what we need to address, which one of us is going to be doing it. Don't
I think sometimes we make excuses for men. Oh, he's not assertive. You know, that's just his personality. That's just who he is. He's very soft spoken. Being a man doesn't mean you have to be rough. I mean, we like a little roughness in certain, you know, different times, right, Mandy?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It doesn't take away. It doesn't. It doesn't take away from the being, you know, you still have testosterone. So let's show us that you are a man. It's not me, you know, me Tarzan, you Jane, but be a man. Be a man so I can be a woman. Because sometimes I don't want to be a man. I don't want to feel like I don't want to feel like I need to be a man.
Okay, let's ask this question. How many of you ladies do want, you know, at some time in the relationship want to be a man? And how many of you men ever want to be the woman? I would like to see yes or no for those of you ladies. If you ever want to be a man, put yes. If you never want to be a man, put no. Me, myself, let me just answer. The answer is no, because I'm a woman and I don't want to be a woman. That's what I am. I don't want to be anything else but a woman, right? So what do you guys think on the panel?
I already wrote, I said a big no.
Yeah.
No, I love being a woman and I love the role. and I take the role very well.
Seriously, yes.
However,
come on, guys.
But there are times, I mean, if you living in a fatherless home, with your children you raising, and there are times you basically fall into that role.
That's different.
It's just, it's different. But one time or another, you're gonna fall into that role.
That's different. I mean, it's okay, but in a relationship with a man, I have a man. I don't want to feel like I need to be a man. You're the man. I may wear pants, but I don't want to see you in a dress. I don't want to visualize you in a dress.
You're talking about role playing right now.
I don't want to visualize you in a dress. And I'm not talking about a kilt where you could say it's a skirt. I'm not talking about a kilt either.
Linda says, I'm a woman all the time.
That's right.
That's right. That's the way we do it. You know,
I think it's imperative, however, that I say this because there is such a thing as the modern man and the modern woman nowadays. And a modern woman will tell you, I don't really need a man.
Yeah, we ain't talking about that.
I can do everything that a man
I'm not modern, just
that's why we're saying.
Hold on. You guys brought this up, so I'm just gonna go ahead and address it. Okay. So you do have this modern woman who purchased the wolves, and they have the house, and they have the everything they need, and they look at you and they say, why do I need a man for? Right? And the world or their friends let them know, well, you still need, you need a man or whatever. So they get married, but that mentality never changed.
Yes.
And so you walk into that kind of relationship as a man, there's going to be a lot of conflict in this type of relationship because the mentality of this woman, not that she's telling herself she's acting like a man, but the mentality of I don't need a man changes everything. And I know we can play with the words right now. There's a difference between need and want and all of that. But what we're trying to say is when the roles are blurry, that's a recipe for disaster.
That's it.
Right? There has to be some clear, defined role. Like this is a man, he has some role that he's going to play in the house, and you as a spouse, as a wife, and so forth, you're going to play that particular role. Now, we're talking about men and women being in relationships, and there are other relationships that we haven't even talked about.
Yes.
Where whether it's two men or two women or whatever. Yes. So to each his own. What I'm trying to say is no matter how you look at it, though, the roles have to be clear. People have to walk in already with this understanding that this is what I'm bringing into the relationship, right? And you as a partner should never make, I'm going to say this word, should never make your partner feel that what they have to offer you is not that important. You can live without it. You can be without it. You don't really need it. But since they have it, okay. You understand what I'm trying to say? Because if you do that, us men, we may not say anything, but we can feel it. We can see it. We may not verbalize it, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist, right?
Yeah.
So there's a thin line right there. I think that's what I'm trying to say, that we have.
And I appreciate you sharing that, Mandy. For the simple fact is, it's so real, because if we do not have these conversations, we're not gonna know, what role we're playing. I think we do need to identify when we walk in a relationship. Be honest with yourself. What is it you're looking for? What brought you into that relationship? And be honest with the other person. Ask questions so you guys can see which level where you're in. I noticed that you want to share something, Vanya. I'm gonna allow you space because I know we're getting close to it. Yeah. Okay.
So when we speak of role, and as Mandy says, sometimes it's blur, but it's I believe it's how you're defining the role of femininity and masculinity, because you can be in a home where a father is the one raising the children, raising girls, and he has to get sometimes into that feminine role. I'm not saying to be completely a woman, it cannot be, but I'm saying as far as to be in the level to understand your daughters, even if it's in a house where there's a mom and dad, I do believe sometimes you are going to fall into both roles. You may not stay there, but there will be time you will stay in that role, because as a dad, if your daughter comes to you with certain information they need, and mom is not happen to be there, or mom is gone, whether deceased or divorced, and you have the kids, you will at point fall into the feminine role to take care of your daughter. Just like a lot of houses of the women have absentee father, you will fall into in the role of masculinity. And it's not anything, there's really not a fine line, because eventually life brings you there. It brings you into that mix where at times you have to be a little soft. I don't know. I don't want to say soft as far as women are weak, but as far as to teach your daughter certain things about femininity, teach them when they have their first menstrual. You have things you need to do in order to to understand your daughter. And just like the mom has to fall into a role of being a little, maybe a little more masculine so you can deal with your son. So it's not all one definite role. But we all falls into it.
But I want to push this even further. We say this all the time, that it takes a village. It takes a village. It takes a village. And here we are talking about roles where we clearly talk about the men's role and the woman's role. I want to push it furthermore, that sometimes you may be, for example, there are single women who are raising children, but they have their own little village, where the rest of that village, they are also part of raising that child. So even if that child does not have a father figure, but they have enough men in the family, they have enough men in that village who can help them to.
Not all the time.
No, I'm saying though, but the reason why I'm bringing this up again, Vanya, is I don't want us to get stuck into, a woman has to play the role of a man. A man has to play the role of a woman, because sometimes we don't know. Like, listen, I've raised 3 girls. I didn't know how it was. I never could tell you, as I was trying to do this, trying to be a woman to raise them. I couldn't do it. Trust me when I tell you, I couldn't do it. I could only do it from a man's perspective. Yeah. But I rely on my tribe, other ladies who were in my circle, who could give them that support in that way, right? And I'm saying that to say, I don't want us to just focus on just a masculine and a feminine, as in the husband or the wife, as if they are the only two. who has to do this, right? Or the mother or the father.
Yeah.
Rely on other the sources around you. If you don't have one, create one. I think that's the key. Create one so that your child can grow and have that village that they need. Because again, it makes it so much easier when we do have a village.
Definitely.
Like, for example, I could tell you, like, I couldn't braid. I tried, but it didn't work. But I had other people who were more than happy to come and do their hair for me and so forth. So that's what I'm trying to say, that you don't necessarily have to bend.
I do understand that, but I'm just saying that there are households where that community is not available.
Mhm.
Definitely.
It's just not there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I'm just gonna use. Go ahead, Maggie.
No, I do want to acknowledge, you know, that this conversation, we need to continue it some other time because it's 10:05 and I do want to acknowledge everybody's time. I know, you know, my people here, I want to respect you guys and I want you guys to come back next week. I want you guys to invite your friends. So before we go, I did say I had some update, which I shared in the beginning with, and I'm going to share it again right now with you guys.
Somebody getting married again. No.
It's already on the event. For those of you who want to stay, you know, we want to have a group rate for the hotel, reach out to me because if I don't hear from you, I'm not gonna know that you want to stay if you want to have the group rate. So reach out to me, you know, reach out to your friends who say what gonna be there as well and find out because I'm about ready to seal a deal with the hotel. And if I don't have enough people, I won't be able to do it. Because there's lots of people that are already in Florida that's going to attend the event. But for those of you who are coming from out of state, reach out to me, let me know so I can make sure that everybody has a safe space to stay and at a rate that is reasonable for everyone. I wanted to share that with you guys. And if you have not bought your tickets yet, hurry up and do it because there's going to be some changes again at the end of November. So, I mean, at the end, no, right in the middle of November. So having said all this, I do want to say thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you. I mean, this conversation was hot, right? I mean, we can sit down here and have it for hours, but we cannot do that because your time is too valuable. So we'll come back next week. We'll pick up again. But we really just want you guys to remember, you don't have to stay in a space that you feel unhappy. And if you don't know what to do, reach out and ask for help because there's tons of help out there. And if you don't know where to go, you have us here. Reach out to us. We will definitely guide you on where you need to go to find the help that you need. I appreciate each and every one of you. I can't wait to see you guys. Remember, December 10, 2022, Saturday night, December 10.
I'm going to be there.
Yeah. Yes. So before I go, anybody want to say anything else?
OMD, everybody. OMD.
Hashtag OMD. I just want to say once again, yes. You know, whether you a man or whether you a woman, do not allow somebody to degrade you. Mm-hmm. You are worthy of being loved.
Yes, you are worthy. Definitely worthy.
So if they can't love you, somebody else will.
Thank you, Joanna. Hashtag OMD, everybody. Miss Vanya, anything else before we go?
Well, if while listening to the opinion of all of us, if you decide to stay, please seek help. Seek a coach, seek therapy, whatever it is you need to do to get you through this moment. It can change, but if you see it's not, you need to follow your heart by walking away as well.
Definitely.
That's what I have to say.
All right. Appreciate you guys. And you, Mr. Mundy?
Love you guys.
All right. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Remember, reach out to me if you guys have any questions. We are planning one exceptional event for you guys. I know some people don't know what a masquerade ball is. Don't worry, you're gonna be fine. Just make sure you bring your mask. Make sure you have your gown on if you're a woman, and if you're a man, we want you in a tux, and we want you in a suit because we're going to make you happy for the time that you are with us. And if you've never done anything else, if you never take any chance in life, this one you cannot miss it because you're gonna wish that you did. So Join us December 10, 2022 in Fort Lauderdale, Florida for an experience that you'll never forget. I'll see you soon. Love you guys. Until next week. Hashtag OMD, everybody. Thank you. Hashtag OMD.
Thank you guys,
Yeah.
thank you.
Monday just like,
Oh yeah, let me take off.
you are bewitched. He's like every week now he's a bewitched. Boom, he's gone.
Disappears. He
Remember the show
disappears.
Bewitched? He just
I used to love that show.
Wait.